Good afternoon, everyone. We'll start this session on data sharing, if we may. I just want to say a couple of things very quickly before I introduce the first speaker. I think much of these things have already been said around data. I'd say what's happening here as the afternoon begins is we're sort of beginning to drill down. I think discussing the EHRs as a whole and then drilling down to the data behind them is really a reflection of getting down more into what I would call the devil in the details, but to me something that's absolutely critical to the success of this kind of enterprise. So I'll just recap a few things. This is a session primarily about data sharing. We're going to hear some interesting viewpoints on that from Roy and David in a moment. But beyond sharing, I think there's other aspects of data that I think will get rolled into this that we can't really ignore. And they're mainly obvious, but I just want to state them because as I've been sitting here over the last couple of days, in the resources I've been involved in developing over the last 20 years, I would say these are the critical elements that have come, that I've felt that have been responsible for what successes we've had. Obviously, the sharing of the data itself, which we'll get to. I think the ease of access can't be underestimated. That has to be totally straightforward. The ownership, we touched on this before, but I think we should come back to this at some point. And then something that hasn't really been dealt with quite appropriately, I think, in my mind, is the actual reward mechanisms that are associated with being part of such a system, particularly as it comes to data. And perhaps we'll get into that as well. And then we talked about trust a fair bit, but I don't think we talked about trust quite in the context of it as it relates to data. And in my experience, the quality of the data, albeit that we have structured and unstructured data, is absolutely critical to the success of such an enterprise. And then I think that also ties into the representation of the data. So I think we're going to be hearing something about a number of these things, but with particular focus on the sharing. So I'd like to invite Roy Collins to come up from Oxford University. He'll give us his experiences with the biobank and beyond, I'm sure.